If you are the kind of person who stares at a manuscript and overanalyzes like every single sentence, this video is for you. Here's my book. These are the tips that literally helped me write 500-page novels. Hi YouTube. Okay, so I've got a really exciting video for you guys today. It's something I think would help a lot with people who are trying to write a book, have just started delving into the world of writing fiction and writing longer form projects, so novels or short stories that are a bit on the longer side, novellas maybe. So yeah, if you've just started writing fiction or you're a veteran of writing fiction, you know what, this video is for everyone. It's for everybody who's ever tried to write a book or write something but finds themselves overthinking it like insanely. I have been there. It's awful. It can be totally debilitating. I think this is a video I could have definitely used and probably could use every single day when I'm overthinking every single word and can't seem to get words down on the page that I actually like. So this is the slightly toxic version of how to stop overthinking your writing. From me, Esmie, I'm a best-selling fantasy author of The Principle of Moments. Here's my book. These are the tips that literally helped me write 500-page novels. So, you know, you might want to listen. Yes, but as I said, these are the slightly toxic ones. I felt like when we're trying to build our confidence up from the ground, we need a little bit of toxicity sprinkled in there to just help us get that extra like oomph. So without further ado, here are my top 3 toxic tips for overcoming overthinking while you're writing. The first thing I want you to do is go to your bookshelf, pick up any book, literally any book. I don't care what it is. I really don't. Open that book, find a random page and read that page. What you're going to see is something absolutely mind-blowing. Novels are made of sentences. Books are made up of words. I know. Say it with me now. Novels are built out of sentences. Your favorite author or the author of the book that you've just picked up wrote that novel one sentence at a time. It might have been grueling, it might have been hard, but if they hadn't put one sentence after the other, that book would have never been completed. They did it and so can you. Just remember, one sentence at a time. I think the thing about this advice is that people start overthinking their sentences on like a word by word level, and they really tie themselves in knots thinking that every single sentence they write has to be some insane addition to the canon of literature. It doesn't. You are not trying to write poetry where every single word counts and can have triple meanings and sounds like the most beautiful sentence that's ever been wrought by human hands. No. You are trying to write a book, and sometimes that means simple sentences. It means cutting off those adverbs when you're writing about speech. You are allowed to just write he said, she said, or said character. You don't have to be talking about like he growled, he hissed, like every word has its place, but if you are trying to get things on the page, just write the sentence and stop fussing about making it the most beautiful thing that anyone's ever heard. And honestly, I think we've all read books where you open it and the author is clearly trying to make you just contemplate the human existence and, you know, the question of life with every single sentence, and it gets boring. And worst of all, when you do try to write those sentences that hit hard and really drive home the point for the reader, the meaning and the impact is lost because you've tried to do it every other sentence. So simplicity wins, especially when you're trying to write that first draft. Just put one sentence after another and the draft has to be done eventually. Now my next point is a little spicy, but go to Goodreads or Amazon. I know we hate Goodreads, but go to Goodreads, Amazon, Storygraph, wherever, and search your favorite book, okay? Whatever the book is that you're literally like, this is a masterpiece. There is no better book written. I love this book with all my heart and soul. Like, the more deeply connected you are to that book, go and search it up right now. I'll wait. Go, just Google it. Did you? Now filter for 1-star reviews on the page of that book and read some of them.
What you see may horrify you.
I don't do this a lot anymore, but when I was writing my first draft of The Principle of Moments, I used to do this, and I think it just serves as a reminder that no one's untouchable, because you will see people in those review sections tearing a strip, flaying the skin from authors that you thought were totally untouchable, that you thought were greats of the genre, from books that genuinely changed your life and changed how you viewed the world. Like, people will actually be ripping them to shreds. the savagery in some of those comments will actually make you gasp and draw away from the computer screen because it's so scary. And I think it just serves as a perfect reminder that you cannot please everyone. And a book that is a masterpiece to you might literally be a trash fire to somebody else, and that's okay. Sometimes when I'm writing, and I think a lot of writers have this, you probably have this, you've got all these different voices in your heads that seem to come from like different perspectives. So you're like, oh, I think this type of person would love it, but this type of person would hate it. This type of person would accept that this is the way it is, but this one would pick holes in it. Pick one type of person, pick yourself, choose yourself, love me, yeah, and write for them. There are going to be so many people who just from the basic premise of your book will just be like, I don't like it. If you go to the Goodreads page of my book, I'm sure there are 1-star reviews absolutely tearing it to shreds. And you're going to have to make peace with that because not everyone is going to like your book. And that is the best thing that you could possibly understand. As soon as you understand that it is truly impossible for you to put out a piece of work or a piece of art and have every single person love it, then you will be set free. Seriously. When I realized this, it changed my life, and it changed the way that I approach fiction. Every single time that you write, there's going to be someone who looks at your hard work and goes, not for me. Fine. Accept it and move on, okay? Move on. It's fine. I promise you, it's okay. People cannot like things. And there are books that other people have loved that you've hated, I'm sure. And that's okay. It's okay, I promise. Now, my next tip is for the socially anxious people out there, the people who get embarrassed at the thought of other people reading their work. I've got one sentence for you. Write like no one's watching. Because no one is. You're not a celebrity. Who do you think you even are? This isn't Big Brother. There's no one standing behind your shoulder going, oh, I wouldn't have written that if I were you. There's literally no one there. There's no one watching you. Why are you acting like you're on camera? Stop looking around embarrassed. Stop critiquing yourself inside your mind. Like, are you actually letting people survey you from, like, mentally? No, just no. You are alone, right? Unless you're in a cafe, unless you're broadcasting your laptop screen onto a projector for an audience, and in that case, I would say I think there's something going on that might not be PG for this channel because you obviously have a fetish for humiliation. Write like there is no one in the room because there's no one there. You're alone, and that's wonderful. I feel like when we're writing, a lot of people have a tendency to like imagine this readership or this audience that doesn't even exist yet. And I think it's amazing to be like doing things that are loving toward that audience. So if you're seeding things for later or doing some amazing foreshadowing that's going to make, you know, future readers sit up and be like, oh my God, she told us that in the beginning, or he mentioned that in the start. I feel like I'm part of the club that got the clues that were laid in this book. That's perfect. That kind of loving response that you're imagining from a readership is the fuel that keeps writers going. But why would you imagine negative stuff? I feel like this really speaks to what humanity is like. Someone once told me people have a tendency to always imagine millions of worst scenarios. Like they always imagine the worst scenario for things they're nervous about or projects they're doing or just literally any situation. People have a tendency to always imagine a million of the worst outcomes, but nobody ever sits there and imagines the million best outcomes that could happen, you know? So why are you giving people who aren't real, who aren't in the room, like there's no one here, why are you giving them that power over you and your work? Stop it. Just cut it out, okay? No, there's no one there. Now be free, okay? Look, I'm not perfect. I'm not coming here to say, oh my God, like I never worry about this stuff, because I do. So I think the final toxic, this is the least toxic thing. The final non-toxic tip that I would give is like, you can't slay every day. You can't get on that computer and have a fire writing day every single day. Some days are flop days, and that's okay. Accept it. Think, do you know what? Today wasn't my day. I didn't get done what I needed to do. Take care of yourself. Go do a face mask. Go watch Bridgerton. Go for a walk in the park. Talk to your friends. Talk to your family. Call your mother or your father or whoever that you haven't called in a while that you've been putting off, yeah? Do your laundry. I know you need to do that. But whatever you do, just come back. Promise me, okay? Between us, promise me that you're gonna come back and you aren't gonna quit. Don't be a quitter or I'll come for you, okay? No quitting allowed. Go, do what you have to do, accept the flop day, but just sit back down eventually. Don't let the manuscript just like float off into the ether, never to be seen again. It deserves to see the light of day, or your next project does. So whatever you do, take that space, but don't quit, okay? Don't quit. And stop overthinking everything. There's really no need for it. You're fine, you're good. And like I said before, Be dancing like no one's watching, because no one is. You're good. We're not gonna, your 8th grade teacher or your year 8 teacher isn't gonna come through with a red marker and start marking everything up, because nobody even knows about this project. Nobody has access to this document except you. Be free. Stop overthinking. And if all else fails, go to that Goodreads page of your favorite author, look up the 1-star reviews, and understand that you can't be people pleasing in this business of writing books. It won't get you anywhere. Okay, that's all from me. I hope that helped. I really enjoyed making this video. Definitely gonna make a few more like this, and let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about or any tips you want to hear from me. I've loved every second of this video, and I hope you have too. All right, bye.